Russell,
What's up?
do a flip.
I can't do a flip.
Oh, I can't either.
Nah, I would love to.
I know. I've thought about trying to learn how to do a flip, but I would end up like Cinnamon Bun from season 1, where it's like,
I could do one on I almost said treadmill, on a trampoline.
that would be very impressive.
Treadmill would be awesome. This is some OK Go-ish right here if I could do one on the treadmill. No, I could do one on a trampoline. Could never do a backflip because I was always terrified. But maybe one day. Have you seen Michael? Maybe is he in the kitchen?
Are you in the kitchen? I'm in the kitchen.
Does he have a pumpkin?
Does he have a pumpkin?
Man, we're here. This is Never Ending Adventure, and this is episode 35. We're talking season 2, episode 7, Power Animals.
It was
your favorite, almost exclusively Adventure Time podcast.
It was so interesting that they went with power animals and not like party animal, you know?
Yeah, power animals. Well, it's a little bit of combined of both. I think throughout the episode you see you see them partying kind of and their parallel journeys. I mean, they're parallel in some sense. I mean, essentially Jake is getting distracted and going off on tangents, and then Finn is kind of being forced to party in his own way by the goblins.
I thought that was the fun.
Or gnomes, not the goblins.
The gnomes.
Jeez, let's not do that this episode. We had a slip up on a Sir Slicer episode. I said
slasher, right?
You said slasher, and then I went with it. And I hope we didn't say slasher for the rest of the episode. And if we did, I apologize. But I'm not going to do that this episode. They are gnomes.
They are gnomes. They are not goblins. You'll know when there's more goblins for sure.
The goblin from
nasty.
Yeah, from the Eyes episode, he was pretty obviously not a gnome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, what's funny to me? You got to think. You take a step back, dude. That means that Finn and Jake have had gnomes living under their treehouse for.
Are they under the treehouse?
Yeah, because when they blow up,
I guess they are.
All that stuff goes out of the well that Bemo's sitting by.
Oh my gosh, Bemo, when he refixes the well, that is so adorable, and I think it gets blown up again. I don't really recall, but when Jake flies through it, he destroys the well, and then Bemo's over there and puts it back together,
blows back up.
We're not even deep into this, and there's no wonder that. My lovely,
give me some sugar, baby.
Is Bemo.
Bemo again?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't want it to be. I was trying to find other lovelies, but I've determined in the first 2 seasons so far, Bemo is so Finn and Jake are the best friends that you want to have. They're the best friends that everybody is looking for, sort of a thing, and you want that partnership. But Bemo seems to be the most supportive and encouraging friend that you keep. Like you're overlooking. Like you probably have a Bemo, and I bet you're overlooking them. And I think we all needed to look for our Bemos because Bemo's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good thought though. I mean, that's a really good thought that you do maybe have like your ultra all the time adventuring buddy, but like such good friends.
Yeah, it's like Bemo just like he's just always there. It seems like I don't know,
always there, always supportive. And like I love the little scene where they just start like they sing their song and then they jump in a little circle together. But in future episodes too, as Bemo develops more, you do see Jake specifically really take on a more fatherly role towards Bemo. It's friendly, but it's more protective than you would be with just like a buddy, you know?
Yeah, right now they're kind of like he's the third roommate that isn't the best friend.
Yeah,
it's kind of the vibe from last episode.
Bemo's like the housekeeper and the entertainer.
Yeah, he does a heck of a job entertaining.
What do you think about the stars in the sky?
Is that I remember
Conversation
this.
Parade.
Yes, Conversation Parade. Gosh dang it. That was so good. I know. I want more Conversation Parade. And also I want to see more video games that they can play and stuff with Bemo and just the more Bemo we get, the more I will enjoy it.
Yeah, they really leaned into it this season, which is awesome. I didn't know it jumped from like until going back and analyzing every episode that we went from like Bemo had 2 lines in season 1 and now BMO's automatically now. That's a pretty integral character. No one-off BMO episodes yet.
Just so glad it's not Nepter.
Nepter gets lost for a number of years there.
Good. Let's leave him.
My lovely had to have been. I had a runner-up. So can I give you my runner-up? It was a close call. It was Buff Finn in the imaginary
when he's
VR
dreaming.
universe or whatever.
Yeah, well, I think that's the VR universe looking into his dream.
Yeah, so Buff Finn will get my sexiest character.
I want to have your baby.
Oh man, good sexy character.
Good sexy character.
My thoughts on Buff Finn are he's kind of like old man Logan Buff. He's like he's definitely got that like kind of old dad bod who's been working out a lot, kind of buffness to him. Yeah, and I dig it.
They said they like made him still have the body of a 12-year-old, but then gave him like old man Logan muscles. So.
Yeah, old man Logan muscles and just like the upper body, how it's kind of like a flatter but muscular body, kind of the old boxer type of a look, and also the wife beater too. Like
and I think the wife beater is kind of like puts the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I actually the other day was listening to a Game Grumps episode and they brought that up, and it's like, man, why is that the name for that T-shirt? There's actually the name is A-shirt. A-shirt's the actual name for that type of T-shirt. Yeah,
not a tank top.
No, well, it's a type of tank top, I guess, but it's an A-shirt. Like that design
tank top.
Well, you know what a wife beater is, right?
Yeah. Where it's like it's skin tight. It's really
like
thin.
The letter shirt. We don't need to go on a tangent about this. Just go with it.
Interesting though. But my lovely was the party god.
Party god. Okay, the Ed Hardy floating wolf head.
Yes.
You're lovely.
Because
why?
I think I think Party God got my lovely of the episode because I know some really funny future Party God episodes.
He comes back?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. There's some more Party God. It's not like around all the time, but it's definitely plays some parts in the future.
He's
funny, and I think it was just more like, I'll grant you a wish, but I'm gonna put curse you with 1,000 partying demons until you
the
can't
energy
party
of 1,000 partying demons.
Yeah.
That's
kind of legendary too.
You're gonna demolish everything in your path. I mean, I totally agree.
And it was voiced by D. Bradley Baker, who does everything on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network pretty much. So I was like, cool. They got him. I mean, he's a ton of other stuff in Adventure Time too. So I was like, oh, that's just cool that he got party god status.
Yeah, Jake had a must party forever when he was flying through. Mm-hmm. What was the best part about that though was the multicolored eyes really reminded me of like Mario when he gets a star, bum 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 bum. And it just I mean, even the fact that he has to demolish everything in his path just kind of plays into that too. It
was funny. When he goes into the underworld or whatever, what are they Underverse?
Beneath the verse.
Excuse me. Goes down there and he's like, he's not even destroying things. His phrase is, "Oh, I can totally lift this." Yeah. And I was like, they are totally playing on a drunk guy at a party, just being like, "Bro, I can totally lift this heavy rock, man."
Did you have a party god in your frat, Ned? Were you the party god?
No, I was not. There was one guy I think that wanted to be, and it was always just like, he's still the guy to this day that like calls the dogs at everybody's wedding.
Jeez, I was wondering. I have mixed feelings about the calling of the dogs, but just because it's just so much. It's just so much, and people do it in like the most like we're those annoying fans, and you can't help but do it. Like, do you have I'm the party animal. Like, what is your most proud party animal moment? Since we're talking about party gods,
party animal moment has to be just like in college. I did get to DJ our like raves, and I would set up the lights and do the smoke machine and get my like turntable out. And
you were kind of party god.
That was pretty fun. That was like my party god moment.
Party god, or maybe party gesture.
Yeah,
one of those two.
Pretty docile rave god. I don't know.
I like that. I don't know if
What about you?
I don't know. I think mine might be the time when I was down on Broadway and I had 1% left on my phone, and I was able to get all of my friends together and call an Uber and get back to my apartment. And then I showered, brushed my teeth, put on PJs of some sort, and went to bed after drinking some water. I mean, literally, I don't know how I did it, but that's got to be my most proud party
Just
moment.
1%, and you made it home.
I made it home, and I like dadded, and I just got everybody together, and I took care of myself. Like, I don't know. That's probably my most proud party moment.
It's not a rally. It's just
I'm just proud of it.
Things could have ended worse than they did, and you're alive.
That's what I'm saying. I'm proud of it.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Well, on a separate note, on not what you did right, what did you have any Jake mistakes in this one?
Making bacon pancakes.
No, I wasn't really looking for Jake mistakes. It's kind of your thing.
I know. I was looking for one. I wanted to ask you specifically this time because I had one that was a fun mistake, and obviously, kind of the whole episode, like Jake is just making mistakes.
It's Cinnamon Bun. I don't know. It was a weird thing for me because I feel like Cinnamon Bun kind of put this in his mind, and then Jake did the kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy thing where he can't let it go, and then it just becomes a reality. He keeps forgetting what he's doing, where he's going, and all of that. I mean, you even have like when he finishes the eating the grass or whatever, he's like, "I'm finished, fin," and then it hits him, and almost immediately after that, he gets distracted again with my sexy character of the episode. The water-haired bikini.
The water nymphs.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they come up here and there, but there are nymphs that live in the pond in their backyard.
Well, are they like good guys or bad guys, or what's their dealio?
I think they are like straight. If we were to put them on the category in the show, I think they're neutral.
Okay.
They don't really ever do anything that good.
Well, he passed out because of his joke. He laughed so hard at it, and then they took him to another party. I mean, if anything, it sounds like, maybe they should have brought him into the treehouse, but I don't know. And then their joke is so stupid. What did the mermaid see? A movie?
A movie?
I know there's like, this is what she was trying to say. And I literally I have no clue. I'm not sure what she was trying to say.
I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's not worth diving deeper into, but I was trying to figure it out.
A seashell? Seahorse? Because she saw a sea? I don't know.
I don't think it's worth diving into, Ned.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that was my sexy character. How did we get on that?
Sorry, tangents. Jake's blacking out.
Yeah.
The water nymphs. And then
going up and seeing the party god.
Yeah. And then the party god, that was kind of what I thought was a cool part about this episode in general, is we got a lot of like introductions to new Adventure Time things.
Yeah.
So like gnomes exist, and there's this beneath the verse.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some qualms with that later.
We'll talk about that a little later.
Cloud people.
But we've seen them before.
Yes, briefly.
For the bachelor party.
Yeah. I forgot, but there was the man.
Man, look at this. The rookie.
I was like, I know they come into future episodes, and
I'll have a grasshopper for you next time.
I forgot that they raged at the Cloud Kingdom.
Yeah.
So hey, they're doing another party.
When party the rookie becomes the teacher.
Hey, we had dancing bugs. You actually used that image on a TikTok, and I gotta say, I did. I had a note to tell all of our listeners. I made a pretty decent TikTok out of dancing Jake a while back. So go back and give us some extra love there.
Yeah, but I hate that bass. I don't. It's just so overpowering in your face. That beat is just like, and it took me out of the episode. And I don't think you want your music to do that.
I think it was strategically done like that, though. Like, it was like the episode started off with like an 8-bit song, so it already kind of sounded not out of place, but not like peaceful background scored music.
Mm-hmm.
And this one kind of was like I think it just raises that lit level. They're showing Jake's like, oh yeah, he's gonna keep the party going.
Yeah, and I think what we were talking about was Cinnamon Bun, how what he said that Jake got in his head, and Jake couldn't get over the fact that he's forgetful, or like he just starts being more and more forgetful as the episode goes on.
Like, I mean, just like in terms of, you think that that's like a personality trait of people?
Well, I think we've seen Jake's laziness. I don't know, but I'm not sure necessarily if that's a character trait of Jake. I think in this episode it was, certainly. I mean, he was doing just silly things in general. You know, he's going on tangents. He's doing, like, I think what everyone does when they're procrastinating, something that they should be doing. You know, pulling up their phone and flipping through the apps. But he, you know, I don't know. And then the ice cream in the toaster, I'm not really sure what's up with that, but he did it like 2 or 3 times.
Well, the ice cream, and I don't know if it was the writers specifically, but the ice cream in the toaster, I think, was a callback maybe to Anchorman, when Steve Carell is like putting like straight butter in the toaster.
That's awesome. And just
like,
was.
I would love it if the writers were kind of doing a like Steve Carell Brick Anchorman reference.
That'd be cool.
That'd have been really cool.
Man, we didn't even talk about the episode opens up with the roof party.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really cool for the celestial alignment. Now I was curious, and there may not be anything. Do you know if there's any significance to the celestial alignment? It sounds like Princess Bubblegum's pretty on top of that.
I don't know if there's a significance to it. Obviously, she's the scientist, so she would be like into it.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if that was like going to play into our long-term whatever happens in the Adventure Time world.
No, I thought about it when I watched this episode, though, of like, hey, is this mean anything about their technical, like a lot of longitudinal, latitudinal positioning on the Earth? Probably a lot, because there's no light pollution anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. But I tried to think, and I was like, no, it doesn't really come up again, I don't think. This was, however, that rooftop party. First of all, motley crew of people.
Yeah.
Rainicorn's there. It is the first time in the show that we do see Marceline and Princess Bubblegum at the same place together.
Yeah.
That's big, man.
Well, I wondered too, because they didn't interact in any way, you know, obviously.
Mm-hmm. There was no dialogue there at all.
Yeah, I don't know. And it didn't seem like they even tried to be near each other. So I wonder what their relationship is now. I don't know what their past relationship was necessarily, but of course it's like
get into it later.
It's impossible to avoid like all the spoilers. I've been trying, but you know, I know
every piece of Instagram content out there has something to do with Phoebe and Marceline. So
people ship them a lot, it seems like. I don't know. We'll see. I you know, if I need to walk out here and you need to talk with the audience for a minute, we can. But it just seems like people are shipping PB and Marceline, and or just being like, oh, they used to be really close or something like that.
If you can make it to season 9 without any sort of spoiler, like, I'll give you the spoiler, but not tonight. Not tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I thought it was cool this is the first episode moment in the show that they are being brought in. Yeah. And I like that they start with a party like this, and not just be like, hey, Finn and Jake were out in their treehouse and then Gnomes captured him. I do like we start to see that they are like hanging out with their Candy Kingdom friends and their hot dog princesses there. And there was a little character in the cooler that was like a little red character. When Jake
it was adorable.
And I think they said it was like hot dog princess's like little sibling or something. Like somebody in her kingdom was like hiding out in the cooler.
Okay. Huh.
Super weird.
I didn't know that.
But I like that all because it's like, oh yes, we are having parties with all these people, and we're adventuring and meeting.
Yeah, for the celestial alignment was just like the aurora borealis. It was just the northern lights essentially.
But they turned it into a party.
I mean, it's the tops for me of this episode is definitely the rooftop parties, or just in general, like a rooftop bar, rooftop patio, like rooftop parties.
That's the tops of the whole episode for you?
Yeah, the tops is a rooftop party. I mean, I was always jealous of How I Met Your Mother, because they used to do it all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
And now we got that happening, and I don't have a rooftop I can party on unless you go the Broadway, and I don't want to do that.
I don't want a rooftop party on Broadway.
Rooftop bars are great, you know?
They are. They really are. But I'm just surprised that was the tops over Jake's dance with the bug. That's my tops. But
the music sucked. I didn't like it.
You didn't like the music. My backup tops was BMO and Jake's song together.
Yeah, I know. It was good.
That was really good. I had to write that down, and then I remember I love.
I tried to sing it with you at the beginning of this episode.
I didn't memorize every like doo dop beep bop thing that they sang.
Yeah, I know. It's all good.
How you expected me to memorize every song
just
each podcast?
Well, yes, actually, I do. I do expect you to memorize each song. Just the first two lines, the back and forth.
All right. I think we got to take a break for a bad advertisement.
Are we there? All right, let's do it. Let's get some money. Welcome back to 102.9 Human Music. This is your favorite DJ, Russ.
And the Party God.
T. And the Party God. We got an awesome show this coming Saturday. Doors are going to open at 8, show at 9. We got a couple DJs that are just going to rock the place. And I'm pretty excited about this one. Party Guy, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the show?
That's right, Rusty. It's going to be the Plasma Ball, and it's going down at the Schmorgan Horgan Hall of Fame this weekend. We're going to have me headlining, dropping some sick beats down for you. Opener, DJ Ladybug.
Yeah, I love Ladybug. She's a good one.
Boom, 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 boom. She's sick.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
We're going to have brews. We're going to have babes. We're going to have water nymphs as far as the eye can see.
Welcome back from our bad advertisement.
Welcome back, fellow travelers. Man, Ned, what are your thoughts? Did you actually enjoy this episode or no?
I really did enjoy this episode. I think I kind of I had even a note, kind of kick it off. And as I was wrapping up the episode, I was like, this is overall just a fun episode, I feel like.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like it is a little random, but I guess that's kind of the point with Jake in this episode, is that he's being random. But it felt like we almost were getting a villain of some sort, you know? Not that I don't know if this gnome's gonna keep showing up. The Grandmaster of the Gnomes is gonna keep popping up here and there, but I definitely will he? It feels like a villain.
There's some gnomes that come up later.
Yeah, are they bad gnomes?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if they're bad or not. There's gnomes again in the universe, but I don't think that they're explicitly this bad. They're not, and they don't live underground. Like there's not a universe of them underground either.
Well, first off, Finn and Jake, they need to call an exterminator.
I just don't know how they didn't notice.
I don't want those things underneath my house.
Also, I had a huge qualm with them.
Yeah.
In general, they were like, we need this unlimited power source to power up our machines, but all the machines ran and had enough electricity and power to shock Finn.
Yeah, I know. I was like, well,
if they don't have a power source, where's the electricity coming from? Unless they're ripping off Jake and Finn's utility bills.
They might be.
They're just plugged into the treehouse power. But the treehouse doesn't even have I don't think it has electricity. I like to
think of it like the Codename Kids Next Door, which, there we go. Let's bring that reference back.
Just the treehouse with the huge underground.
Well, they have a ton of hamsters. And K&D, they have thousands of hamsters that run on little wheels that power their treehouse. And this is kind of what Ben's doing on the cyclonic rodentirod. He's sort of like, what is it? It's for the alternator. And it's basically a giant hamster wheel, and they're shocking them to run faster.
Yeah.
No, I've got beef with them too, man. I mean, the ruler of the Beneathiverse, interesting concept. I mean, basically mole people, but they're gnomes, like your garden gnome variety. And there's sunlight through the window.
Yes, there was a note even when I did all of my episode research that I noticed it, and it was called out that they did put a window that assumingly had sunlight in it in the underground. I bet if you really wanted to support the show and be like, they never got anything wrong, be like, maybe that was a fake window. So it looked like they weren't, because they were trying to get out. They weren't proud of living under the earth. So maybe that was their, we created a fake window to make it feel like we're above ground.
Or maybe it was I don't know. It's almost one of those things in movies where it's like a dark room, but you can still see because there's obviously cameras and lights.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe it's a lot darker for them than what we actually see. But But no, maybe not because of the window. I don't know, man. I just thought that was a little silly.
Yeah, it was, and it was very, very obvious too. It
Mhm.
was not like a subtle little window in the back. It was like half the background.
Yeah. Well, plus, what is their purpose? What is their goal with
That's
this?
what I was trying to figure out too. Is like, one, they obviously aren't trapped down there because
Mhm.
a handful of them
Well, they want to rule.
get in a trench coat.
Yeah.
And they go up and they go to the party and they're they're slamming down the dip.
Well, they knew what they were looking for because they would not be at that party otherwise.
I just was like, if you don't like being underground and you want to rule, like, then just don't be underground.
Yeah,
like they could have built even powerful machines to overtake something above ground if they had wanted to. I don't know.
Well, the Beneathiverse it's an interesting thing. The Upturn Overdrive, their goal is to flip the Earth so that they're on top, which the logic I'm not sure is there. And also, logic. Does that mean that they're flat earthers because they think that once the Earth flips over, they're going to be on top?
Like, they probably do. They probably are flat earthers.
There's another side to the world, dude. You know, like I'm assuming that that ooh is, I don't know, round. I don't know.
Yeah, there is like several like you can get on whatever flat Earth tangent you want in the Adventure Time universe. They have pan over shots of the planet being round like multiple times in this show.
That's good.
So,
well,
think what you may about the real world here, but
no, don't.
For those listeners out there, think what you may. We're not trying to start beef with you guys. But the Adventure Time globe is for real round.
If you're listening to this and you're a flat earther, you know, maybe that's my beef for the episode.
Maybe that's my beef.
Why? Anyways, I don't feel like I'm going to offend. If I'm offending you for that, then
don't be on the internet.
Yeah. And also, anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah. So, but they knew what they were looking for. They knew Finn was the solution to their problem because they went to that party. Finn and Jake both didn't know the guest or whatever, the three gnomes. Jeez, I almost said goblins again.
Yeah,
gnomes
not goblins
on top of each other, like, you know, kids trying to buy beer or whatever at a party. You know, and they knew. And then freaking Cinnamon Bun, my most punchable character, is like doxing Finn and being like, "Man, you got a lot of energy. Like, you just have so much energy to stay focused." Cinnamon Bun sticks. I don't like them.
Yeah, Cinnamon Bun. I mean, we had our whole little Cinnamon Bun. I think it was in episode like 2 or 3. And it was the concept that he is half baked until he goes to the Fire Kingdom.
Will he get better?
Yes.
Okay.
Gets significantly better.
Because he's kind of gross and he just is the worst. I just don't like him.
It's going to be, that may not even happen until season 5. But he's not around a ton. He's here and there a lot up until we really start going into depth with the Fire Princess and her kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cinnamon Bun gets fully baked as a character.
Cool.
As I will continue to use that pun because I thought it's one of the best ones. It's one of my favorite ones of the show so far.
Yeah.
And that's why he's kind of an asshole anyways.
Okay. And does he smile? Does he get like dental insurance as well or something?
He grows up and he does not seem like some sort of like weird like hurdy.
You know? hurdy. Yeah, well, through his doxing and through the gnomes being there on purpose, the gnomes go up the Finn and they're like, "Oh, do you think your energy could power a huge machine?" You know, like they're all up in his personal space.
Do you think that you could strip on my stripper pole and generate enough stripper electricity to run this machine?
Did he have to do that? Did he have to be on a stripper pole?
That's what I was saying. I was like, he did not have to be on a stripper pole, but I think they snuck that in at least for like the older people appreciation part of the episode.
And I think it's also that is almost that parallel. Like they're both dancing, but Finn is very much like not dancing of his own will. Yeah. he's being tortured. But man, the next scene brings up, you know, the kidnapping of Finn. I'd say it brings up my theoretically speaking for the episode.
Theoretically speaking.
So I think what we've seen throughout Adventure Time is that D&D is a huge influence on the creators of Adventure Time. And so my theoretically speaking for this episode is that D&D rules apply to Adventure Time. Finn, he's asleep when the goblins try to kidnap him. And per
The
D&D
gnomes.
rules, what did I say? The goblins?
The goblins.
Oh my gosh. Dang. Okay. I'm
Sorry,
the worst.
I'm not trying to throw you off your
No,
thought.
you're good. You're good. I'm the worst.
He's asleep
man.
when they tried to
The
kidnap
gnomes.
him.
I literally wrote goblins in my notes. Can you believe that crap?
It's influential.
That's so. This whole episode is the worst. No, I'm kidding. So anyways, D&D rules apply. Finn was asleep when the gnomes tried to kidnap him, and given that he was asleep, gnomes therefore would have advantage. 2d20 against Finn's AC. He has no armor on. He's wearing pajamas, which he rips off in his dream. But therefore, his armor class is low. They have advantage on their roll. And because of that, they were also within 5 feet to hit him, which would mean an automatic critical hit, double damage dice. Considering that Finn is only 13, his constitution is probably too low to stay conscious. And I think that's why the gnomes were able to kidnap him pretty easily.
They just calculated the situation into a spot where, like, yeah, Finn can slay dragons, but like this is
This is why.
and he would have been able to fight them off too had they like tried to kidnap him at the party. Too,
Yeah, but he was asleep, and they
tied his hands. They
They
tied
had
his hands
advantage.
up while he was asleep too. If you noticed.
Oh, I did not notice.
Yeah,
that.
so like when they pick him up off the bed, his
It
hands
already
are
tied?
Yeah, his hands are already tied behind his back.
Cool. Well, yeah, that was my theoretically speaking was just let's get the D&D logic going in Adventure Time and see if we can explain some random things
Yeah,
via my very minor knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah. No, I think that's a good one, and it's actually a good thing to continue to look out for. And we typically do, especially during the dungeon episode. We looked for it.
Yeah,
But
it's hard to
yeah.
apply that math though, and I'm not going to do this often, but certainly I thought it was a interesting situation where like, why was he just so susceptible to being kidnapped by these freaking gnomes? And it's maybe that's why. Probably not, but maybe.
maybe. No, I think that's a great theoretically speaking.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
I didn't have a theoretically speaking, but I had a thought, just in terms of not getting into a deeper thought in this episode, but I really do think that Jake has ADHD.
Yeah.
And actually started Googling, trying to research a little bit more about the show and if anything's explicitly stated in this realm. And there was at least 3 or 4 different sites and a paper that came up where people referenced this episode specifically as like Jake has ADHD. According to a paper I read that quoted Mayo Clinic, it's a combination of problems such as difficulty sustaining attention, hyperactivity, and impulsive behavior. And I also read a different thing that some dogs and have a tendency to have ADHD characteristics. So that's kind of, it's not very deep because you're like, yeah, Jake's a dog, and dogs, get distracted when there's tennis balls and squirrels,
Yeah, cut to me putting ice cream in a toaster.
But it's something cut to me toasting some cream.
Doing the thing. Toasting some cream.
Toasting the creams. But it makes me...
That's interesting.
It makes me think, I was like, I wonder if the writers were being really goofy with it or if they were kind of addressing the nature of like people have ADHD and like this is how they operate. They are truly trying to get things done
from the perspective of someone who suffers with this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, or deals with this thing.
But luckily it is lighthearted enough. It's, I don't think that they get into any sort of realm of it being like, let's address this topic here. But good to point out that this is very ADHD tendencies. And I like to bring that up to kind of just get a little bit of real world grounding into the episode.
Let's do that with Finn then. I think, and we talked about it a little bit with 1, the dream, and then 2, Jake kind of self-fulfilling prophecy of, Cinnamon Bun saying that he, can't pay attention or whatever it is that Cinnamon Bun's saying to him. And so Jake suffers with that throughout the whole episode. But then we see in Finn, he kind of has this other, like he has a positive self-image in his dream. And I thought that was really cool. I thought, like that was a moment where he could have been even weaker or lame looking or whatever, just thinking about how self-image is so important. And to Finn and his dream, he's this like ripped Hugh Jackman-esque character who can take his pajamas off and rip giant, metal handles off and throw a chair and do a lot of really cool things. And also his best friend is ripped and dope, and can break through a wall. Well, but I guess, Jake kind of can do that. But I thought it was really cool that Finn has this positive self-image, especially as a 13-year-old.
Yeah, that is really cool. I didn't think about it in that way. And that, yeah, absolutely. So I was going to say on the flip side, if we were talking about ADHD, like what would be like Finn's flaw? Because I wanted to bring up the fact that the last episode we just reviewed, like, the storytelling episode. Actually, no, so the last one we did at this point was the Nice King, but we just did storytelling.
Slow Love with the snails.
Oh, man, we've done so many episodes. I'm getting them all out of order at this point.
Yeah.
But we did when we did storytelling, we did talk about like Finn's nature and being like, I have to help Jake no matter what the costs. And the cost with that one was like relatively low. Jake wasn't going to die, all that stuff. And then this one, it's like Finn's dead. Jake can't find Finn, and he has nothing lights a fire under Jake, even when he's missing. He's so distracted, and he does use a wish and take on the consequences from the wish from the party god in order to be like star power mode.
Yeah, awesome consequences.
Awesome consequences.
Party demons.
But he takes on the consequences. So maybe there is some sort of responsibility that Jake feels towards Finn. He's like, it's my own flaws that I can't get this fixed, so I will take on the consequences of the party god.
And what is Finn's flaw in this episode?
Finn's flaw, and not in this episode.
Or not this episode, yeah.
But I would say it's type A is not the right word.
Yeah.
But almost so hyper-focused that in that storytelling episode, he could not even he loses his own morality because he's so tunnel visioned on this one mission. He doesn't see the bigger picture. So for now, and this is actually a character flaw they work on with Finn. He begins to see the bigger picture. He begins to be like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to do, but what are all the, side effects and consequences of my actions? But really right now he's tunnel visioned. Like, I'm going to do this and it's going to be good. And I don't care. I don't see any fallout from it. And Jake is the total opposite. Has no vision, no focus,
Yeah, this episode even brings Finn down a peg, and I think maybe too, almost overconfidence or, is another issue that Finn is still man, he could take down anything, and this is a great episode where he's pretty helpless for most of the time. How you're not going to make me run? Well, you're not going to make me run fast. Well, yeah, they can.
Yeah, they are.
Electric rods.
I know
they're going to shock you.
You're not in any place to throw fists right now, man.
Yeah. So
I don't know why you got that big talk. Besides the fact that these are little gnomes.
Little gnomes. Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating. And we'll see. We'll see. I think Finn's going to just keep growing. But having flaws is a part of life. It's cool that he doesn't suffer with the self-image one at the moment. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, that confidence is why he is such a great adventurer.
Yeah.
And why he pretty much succeeds in a lot of his adventures.
Doesn't let what other people think define him, and he's able to just kind of take charge and make mistakes and learn from them. And, making mistakes is a whole lot better than never making them in the first place.
Yeah.
So, man, well,
is that your lesson?
No, I guess that'll be lesson number one.
That was a good one. Yeah,
that'll be lesson number one, man. What, you got a lesson for me?
I mean, I would say the lesson, just because we went on 7 of them on one of the last episodes, my big overarching lesson is that friends' flaws and friends' strong suits somehow end up playing in with each other in this really well balanced. What is it called? Not homeostasis. It works.
Yeah.
Basically,
homo way.
Yeah, in this big homo way.
Love it.
And it's not homeostasis. I just can't remember
the
word. But the flaws of Jake and the flaws of Finn and the good parts about Jake and the good parts about Finn are why they're the peanut butter to the jelly.
Yeah, of course, man. I think my lesson is don't toast your ice cream. Try the microwave instead.
Both are not good.
That's my lesson. I think it's a good lesson.
It's a good lesson.
And put a cinnamon bun in it.
Yes. Cinnamon bun needs to get in the toaster.
Cinnamon bun needs something. We got to do something to that freaking dude. No, I really like this episode. It's going to be in my top 10 for sure. I really wish we got to see an interaction between PB and Marceline this episode, or like anything from either one of those two.
Yeah, put a pin in it, and so that when it happens, we'll be like, "Oh, yes, it finally happened." Since we talked about this episode.
Yeah, and maybe we got our Batman's Penguin villain this episode. I mean, maybe not, but I like to think that maybe we did, and they're just forever going to have gnomes underneath their house that they're going to be at war with. But yeah, I don't know. Man, Ned, this was good. Another good week.
Yeah, this was a great week.
Y'all, thank you for going on this adventure with us and continuing to help us and support us and check us out and review us any way that you can, and hit those like buttons and choke out those comment sections, with love.
Choke it out.
Only with love.
Choke it out with love.
Yeah. And also, if you hit up Apple Podcasts, they've got a rate and review section that actually helps us a lot. That would be fantastic. You can catch us at Instagram at neverendingadventurepodcast, TikTok at neverendingadventurecast, Twitter at NEA_podcast, email at NEA.travelerslog@gmail.com for all your comments that you might want us to address on the podcast in any way. And we'll just keep going with this. Part of the fun of adventuring is doing it with other people. And tell your friends about us.
And partying.
Yeah, and tell your friends, get on the journey, and let's go through it, man.
No, I heard Obama's listening to the podcast now.
Obama's?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he messaged me.
He messaged you?
Yeah, it was for real Obama _1.
For real Obama.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all, Obama's listening to the podcast. It's crazy.
Yeah, I had one of my favorite comments, and I saw this. He deleted it, and this would be my beef. Is this dude? Because I was so on top of this TikTok post that I did, and he commented, "I can't believe y'all are breaking down a child's show or like overanalyzing a child's show." And then a couple seconds later, the comment deleted, and I couldn't screenshot it, but I was like, "That is such a good comment." And yes, we are.
And yeah, I was like, that's
the point,
the premise.
I think it was like, we got to stop doing this. Like, we got to stop breaking down children's cartoons. And I was like, no, we're not.
We need to get into like, what are we doing? Like next episode, we're doing Mad Men season 1, episode 1.
Yeah,
got to get into the real stuff, man.
Let's talk about Breaking Bad. That's never been done before.
It's never been done before.
Anyways, y'all, thank you so much. I've just got one thing to say.
Say it.
Party forever.
Party on, Garth.
Welcome back, fellow traveler. Just kidding. This is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for another week with us. This is Russell, your best buddy co-host. I also have my best buddy co-host, Ned, who is your other best buddy co-host. We have a nice triangular friendship thing going on. Me, you, and Nettie Pooh. And also, we actually have a quadratical, there's got to be a name for that, right? Quadrilateral relationship. I don't know. Anyways, DJ Cowboy Hat, also known as Michael Hitchcock, is also a part of our friendship. We got a 4-way friendship. And hopefully this will go forever. Or at least till the end of this podcast.
At least till the end of the show.
It's never ending.
No, well, we'll see. Maybe we'll have another episode going, or another show going after this. But anyways, you guys, just wanted to be a little bit more sincere, even though I've been joking this entire time, and say that y'all are awesome. And this has been such a fun experience doing an Adventure Time podcast. And I just am very excited for this. Let's do it. Party forever, y'all.
Love you guys.